Once a bustling hub of activity, the Midnight Junction train station had fallen into disrepair and abandonment. Situated at the edge of a small town, its grand architecture from a bygone era stood as a testament to the past. The station had been closed for decades, ever since a tragic accident claimed the lives of several passengers and crew members on a fateful night. Chapter 1, The Legend Begins. The legend of Midnight Junction began with whispers among the townsfolk. They spoke of strange lights flickering in the abandoned station at night, of ghostly figures seen wandering the platforms, and of an eerie, mournful whistle that echoed through the mist. Many avoided the area after dark, believing the place to be cursed. But some, drawn by curiosity or seeking thrills, ventured into the station grounds. Few returned with stories, but those who did spoke of inexplicable cold spots, sudden gusts of wind, and an overwhelming feeling of dread that gripped them. Chapter 2, The Haunting Past. Decades ago, Midnight Junction was a bustling stop along the railway, connecting distant cities and bringing travelers from far and wide. One stormy night, however, tragedy struck. The last train of the evening, the Midnight Express, was making its routine stop when a sudden malfunction caused it to derail just outside the station. The crash was catastrophic. Passengers were thrown from their seats, luggage scattered, and the eerie silence that followed was broken only by groans of pain and cries for help. As rescue efforts began, it became clear that not everyone would make it out alive. Chapter 3, The Spirits Awaken. In the aftermath of the accident, reports of strange occurrences at Midnight Junction multiplied. Railway workers claimed to hear disembodied voices calling for help on stormy nights, while maintenance crews reported tools disappearing only to reappear in bizarre locations the next morning. One particularly chilling tale involved a night watchman who swore he saw a spectral conductor walking along the platform, lantern in hand, shouting orders to an invisible crew. When the watchman approached, the figure vanished into thin air, leaving behind an icy chill that lingered in the air. Chapter 4, The Midnight Express Returns. Despite the eerie stories, the town decided to reopen Midnight Junction, hoping to revive its economy and restore the station to its former glory. The grand reopening ceremony was held on a moonlit night, with dignitaries, reporters, and curious locals in attendance. As the clock struck midnight, the first train in decades approached the station. The Midnight Express, refurbished and gleaming under the station lights, slowed to a stop. Excited chatter filled the air as passengers boarded, eager to be part of history. Chapter 5, Unforeseen Terrors. The journey began smoothly enough, but as the train neared the site of the historic crash, a thick fog enveloped the track's. Passengers peered out anxiously, straining to see through the mist. Suddenly, the train lurched, and the air filled with screams of terror. In the chaos that followed, passengers reported seeing ghostly apparitions in period clothing wandering through the train cars. Some heard phantom footsteps and disembodied laughter echoing down the corridors. The train's controls malfunctioned, and attempts to communicate with the outside world failed. Chapter 6, The Conductor's Warning. Amidst the panic, a figure materialized in the conductor's cabin, the spectral form of the original train conductor, his face twisted in anguish. He warned the passengers that they had trespassed into a realm beyond the living, where the spirits of those lost in the crash roamed. Desperate to escape, passengers tried to force open the doors, but they wouldn't budge. Outside, the fog thickened, obscuring any view of the station or surrounding area. The train seemed trapped in a liminal space between the living and the dead. Chapter 7, Battling the Unknown. As hours stretched into eternity, tensions ran high among the passengers. Some whispered prayers, others sobbed quietly in their seats. A brave few attempted to communicate with the spirits, hoping to appease them and find a way out of their supernatural prison. One passenger, a historian, recalled tales of ancient rituals used to appease restless spirits. Armed with this knowledge, they gathered a makeshift offering, a blend of personal items, food, and tokens of respect, and ventured into the train's rear car, where sightings of the apparitions were most frequent. Hashtag Chapter 8, The Ritual. With trembling hands, the historian laid out the offering on the floor of the car. They whispered words of reverence and apology, pleading with the spirits to release them from their torment. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a cold breeze swept through the car, extinguishing the lanterns and plunging them into darkness. Suddenly, the fog outside began to lift, revealing the familiar lights of Midnight Junction Station in the distance. The train's controls responded once more, and with a final shudder, it began to move forward, picking up speed as it approached the platform. Hashtag Chapter 9, The End of the Haunting. As the train came to a stop, passengers stumbled out onto the platform, shaken but alive. The historian's ritual had worked. The spirits, appeased by the offering, had allowed them to leave their spectral realm and return to the land of the living. Midnight Junction Station was closed once more, its dark past finally put to rest. The town erected a memorial to honor those who had perished in the crash and vowed never to disturb the spirits again. The legend of Midnight Junction lived on, a cautionary tale of the dangers of meddling with forces beyond comprehension.
Don't forget to subscribe.